I've got 5 minutes to talk to you about cyber risks and cyber security, and you probably think I'm going to tell you it's not really a technology problem, it's a business problem. You should think of it about risk management, and you should do good cyber security hygiene. That'll be okay. Well, it's not what I'm going to say at all. In fact, I'm going to tell you that's wrong. And if you do that, you are making a serious mistake which may cost you the business. Let me explain. Most cyber breaches are the result of crime, not espionage. That's not on Netflix, but it's the truth. Cyber crime is like the bank robber Willie Sutton, who was famously asked why he robbed banks, and he said, "That's where the money is." The reason people come and steal your data is because they can make money out of it. Sometimes they can make more money out of it than you can. That's because they're better at your job than you are. It's important to see cyber criminals as a competitive threat, not a tech risk. That's the first thing I think that when people underestimate the significance of the cybercrime question, it's because they think of it as a technology problem and therefore susceptible to a risk solution. It's not. What I said this morning to the earlier workshop was that, cybercrime is such a good business that we should advise our kids to go into it. Seriously, because, the business model's great, the technology's brilliant, they adapt very quickly, they don't pay any taxes, they don't take to Twitter to explain themselves, they've got superb customer service. So the Stuxnet virus that was famous some years ago, it was appeared to be released to stop Iranian nuclear centrifuges. You can download it off the internet now with a YouTube video explaining how to use it. That really is a don't try this at home moment, because the washing machine spin cycle will never be the same again. But there's a serious point there, isn't there? Cybercrime is a business model that actually works, and we've thought of it as a crime problem and as a tech problem. We've underestimated it. Second problem is we've overestimated how orderly the internet is. Because the internet isn't just what you can see, there's also the bits that you can't see. We've overestimated how orderly it is because we obey the rules ourselves, therefore we think when there are rules brought in, it will change behaviour. Rules will change our behaviour, but it won't change the behaviour of people who don't want to change. So we've overestimated how orderly the internet is. Third thing we've done is think we know the answer. Firewalls, penetration testing, patching, some antivirus, that should do it. Wrong. 60% of breaches don't involve malware. 60% of breaches involve getting an insider's credentials, someone's username and password, and pretending to be them. Contemporary defences that appear to be more successful involve looking at behaviour, which is prospective, not signatures, which are retrospective. It involves using bulk data to provide continuous assurance, and it involves being prepared to monitor what's happening on your network all the time. That way you've got some chance. But the old ways are expensive and they fail. So there we go. Fourth point, governments won't help you. Governments face their own crisis on the internet. The internet challenges the two things that governments need to function: knowing the identity of their people and their location. That's how the tax model works, that's how the law system works, that's how the Hobbesian bargain works. And if governments are facing that challenge, they won't really have time to deal with some of the cyber security issues anyway. At the same time, the internet is a zone of permanent conflict, and governments are only just waking up to the fact that the long war on the internet started some years ago, and the governments often don't know whose side they're on. So they are not in a position where they can impose rules or have the scale or capacity to help you. My final point, if you crack this, you'll win. If you don't crack it, you won't. We said this morning in response to a question, what does the future look like considering cyber security issues? We're in the middle of an enormous extinction event. I don't mean this in biodiversity terms, it's in business model terms. What Uber has done to taxis, cyber criminals will do to the work that everyone in this room does, unless we wake up and deal with it. So if we can start to think like criminals, how would you manage your data if you stole it? Is a very interesting question for many of us to take home and think through. If we think of the data economy as a productivity challenge, then we begin to see that learning from the bad guys, not just preventing them, may well be an important opportunity. Time is up. Thank you very much.